Can't wait to learn about myself. What's up, y'all? So today I'm going to share the results of my DNAfit genetics test. So months ago, back in Black Friday times, it's now April, I got like a really good deal on this genetic test because Tim and I had already done our 23andMe a few years ago, like 3 or 4 years ago. So if you already had those results, you got a really good deal on this DNAfit. So what it's supposed to do is use that genetic info to tell you what maybe your diet or exercise or sleep habits, stress habits, all that stuff should be. I'm not gonna make any huge major life changes based on this, but it was really affordable and I was kind of curious. So I'm using the DNAfit website. I haven't read any of my results yet, so I'm going to do that on camera. I have a few ideas of what maybe it'll say. So as you can probably tell, I'm of Northern European descent. So some Scandinavian with Swedish or Norwegian, and then some Scottish, Irish, Welsh, some French and German. Those are my main, what am I trying to say? I don't know, but that's what I am. And so I feel like I won't be lactose sensitive or lactose intolerant because I feel like a lot of Scandinavians eat like full fat dairy. And then I also think that I will do well with like fatty fish. I love fish, I always have. Salmon is one of my favorite foods. I'll eat sardines, tuna, whatever, lots of weird stuff. And that's another thing that I associate with Northern Europe. So those are my two guesses. Otherwise, I really don't know what this is going to say. But let's read about it a little bit. FAQ or Q&A question section. Is it backed by real science? DNAfit pioneered the personal genetics code of practice, which provides the highest evidence threshold in the industry. Every result is built off thousands of published research papers showing relevant effects on human nutrition and fitness response, with easily actioned lifestyle changes. We are one of the only consumer genetics companies to invest and publish our own research, and then it gives you a chance to learn more about their research. So it seems pretty legit. Like I said, I'm not gonna oh my God, I can't do this anymore, but I'm kind of curious what it says. So it's currently trying to log in, and we'll see what it says. Can't wait to learn about myself. We are logged in. Let's see. I'm going to do all reports. Okay. Optimal diet type for me says low carb. Let's read about that, shall we? Based on your genetic sensitivity to carbohydrates and saturated fats, we recommend a diet that is lower in carbohydrates than average. Your optimal diet type results should be used as a guide when eating. The most effective diet is one that you will stick to, blah, blah, blah. Interesting. Aim to consume less than 25% carbs, more than 55% fat, and 15 to 25% protein. I would actually say that's kind of how I eat. I love a lot of high-fat foods like avocado, coconut, salmon, beef, nuts, all that kind of stuff. I really do love. I don't limit carbs though. I will say I feel like I'm moderate carb, moderate protein, and high fat. Now I don't track macros or know my exact percentage points or anything, but that is interesting. It makes sense if you think about my ancestors are not from a tropical region of the world where you're just going to eat fruit all the time. So that part kind of makes sense. I'm not going to stop eating carbs. I don't want to do a ketogenic diet personally, or at least not right now, because I'm very active and I do want some carbohydrates, but that makes sense. I have, carbohydrate sensitivity, high sensitivity. Interesting. I'll have to show you a little screenshot. I'm on the very high sensitivity side. The genes in this panel impact the way you metabolize and assimilate refined carbohydrates. Again, they recommend that carbs make up about 25%. So the carbs, I eat bread, I eat fruit. I have such a sweet tooth and it's a problem. It's really hard for me to just eat one serving of dessert or anything. And then so I end up eating too much sugar, and then I get really like jittery and headachy, and then I crash. So I mean, yeah, I don't do great with a lot of sugar, but I really enjoy the way it tastes, to be honest. But I should, keep that in mind. Fat sensitivity, low sensitivity. Makes sense. I really like eating fat. Salt sensitivity, normal. Alcohol response, data missing. I'll have to figure out why. Okay, this is interesting. It says caffeine sensitivity, lower sensitivity, which I disagree with completely. Yes. I don't drink coffee, but maybe like once a month or something, and it will keep me up all night. Or sometimes I'll eat too much dark chocolate and I won't be able to sleep that night. And I know that has a little bit of caffeine in it. So it says I have a low sensitivity. It says I metabolize caffeine quickly, less prone to the negative effects of slightly larger caffeine intake. I'm gonna still avoid caffeine for the most part, to be honest. I don't like the way I feel. I get really, really hype and then crash. Bitter taste perception. I'm a non-taster. I don't know what that means. Hold on. Based on your genetics, you are likely to have a lower taste sensitivity, meaning you experience bitter flavors less intensely than most people. Like what kind of... Oh, alcohol. So I know some people literally hate the taste of alcohol, and I'm like, are you just saying that because you don't want to drink, or no, they really don't like the taste? I don't mind the taste of alcohol. I like grapefruit. I like spicy things. Okay, accurate. Lactose tolerance. It says I'm tolerant, as I suspected. Let's see any details here. I have the ability to tolerate lactose, the sugar found in dairy products. The gene tested produces lactase enzyme, which is responsible for the digestion of lactose. Because you're lactose persistent, you are able to digest more than 12 grams or 1 cup equivalent of lactose from milk and yogurt. So yeah, we eat like Kerrygold butter, Kerrygold cheddar cheese. I'll eat Chobani, like full fat Greek yogurt, or Fage. I eat ice cream. I do eat dairy. Okay. Celiac. Oh, that's interesting. It says I have a high predisposition for celiac disease or disorder, or whatever you want to call it. My chances are still less than 135, but I have a raised risk of developing it. Celiac disease is an immune response to gluten, as you've probably heard of that. So I was gluten-free in college off and on for a while, and I can't tell, like, sometimes I would eat wheat and I would get really crampy and have a lot of GI distress, but at the same time, I don't know if a lot of that was in my head or like went along with anxiety, or I don't really believe in removing foods or food groups from your diet unless you absolutely have to. So I probably will continue to eat some wheat. I don't eat a lot. I would say like I have a piece of toast every day, and that's kind of it. So just like 1 serving of wheat per day. I could find a gluten-free option, but I might not. I really love sourdough though. I heard that kind of takes away some of the effects of gluten, so maybe I'll go back to my sourdough. We've been doing Dave's Killer Bread lately. Okay, I have a normal need of all these. Vitamin A, riboflavin, or vitamin B2, vitamin B6, folate, B12, vitamin C. I have a higher need of vitamin D. So what does that mean? Means I love the sunshine, which is very true. I have a higher need for vitamin D. The genetic variants for this trait are associated with metabolism, transport, and storage of vitamin D. We advise that you include blah, blah, blah vitamin D every day, and you can achieve this through sun exposure and diet. Let's read foods that have vitamin D. Salmon, mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, and then sunshine. So I'm happy about that. If I don't get enough sun, I'm cranky and more disposed to getting seasonal affective disorder. So I like my sunshines. It says I also have a higher need for antioxidants and omega-3s. Again, need my fat, need my healthy fats. And I have a higher need of calcium, so I will continue to eat dairy. So that stuff makes sense. But a lot of the vitamins, it just says I have a normal need. Okay, fitness results section. Optimal training type. This says I have a power and strength bias, or dominance. You could benefit from training which places a higher priority on power and strength-based activities. We recommend 80% of your training schedule be focused on power and strength-based activities and the rest be endurance-based training. So my training response, I'll try to put a little picture. I have a high response to power training, a high response to strength training, and a low response to endurance training. That's interesting. So I wonder what it means by like response. So I really like running and trail running and hiking and all that stuff. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily built for it. And so if I do too much of it, my joints hurt. Like I'm a little more muscly than a lot of like endurance athletes you would see. So when I was training for my trail marathon last year, that was really, it got to be a little tough on my body. So I would say I do more strength training, but I totally do a combo of both. So I will say I build muscle really easily and strength pretty easily, at least in my bench press. That's like my go-to. And deadlift as well. I'm terrible at squatting. But yeah, I really like power-based workouts too. I love my kettlebell work. I love plyometrics. So that makes sense. That kind of fits with what I'm built for, I guess. So I have a high power response, low endurance, high strength. Aerobic trainability. Let's see what that means. It says I have raised trainability. So your genetic profile suggests a tendency towards a raised VO2 max response based on the variations in your genes. In order to make the most of your natural aerobic response, you should cross-train by consistently including both endurance and power activities in your training program. You can exploit your tendency towards a high VO2 max response by including endurance and power activities. Yeah, I would say I do that. So I'm not one to just like, I'm going to go on a 5-mile run every day. It's like, I'll do that once a week, and then my other days I'll do like a HIIT or, my other cardio days. I like to do solely strength-based days as well. So I would say I do a mixture of endurance and power-based aerobic activities. Take advantage of your rapid response to aerobic training by including aerobic work to develop your fitness. Okay. Interesting. Recovery efficiency. I have a thought about this. I think I have a low ability to recover because I've noticed in the past 6 months or so, I've backed off of my training a lot. Not with intensity, but with frequency and volume. So I used to do like an hour 15 workout 5 or 6 days a week. And I just felt really inflamed. I felt like I couldn't recover. I was sore all the time. I wasn't seeing the results that I wanted. And since backing down and taking more rest days and more just active recovery days with yoga and hiking, I've seen better changes in my body. I would say maybe I've lost a little bit of my strength, but I just feel like a better moving human overall. So I think, it says I have low recovery efficiency. These results suggest that you recover slowly after harder workouts compared to most. That's kind of sad though. The genes tested here consider how your body responds to inflammation and toxins with intense exercise. In your case, you may require a longer time between these tough training sessions for your body to recuperate. This means you may need to reduce the frequency of hard workouts in your training plan. Allow for at least 48 to 72 hour rest between your hardest training sessions. So, don't overlook your cool down sessions such as a walk or light stretching. I would say now I do 2 to 3 intense workouts a week and then 2 like easy days and then 2 full rest days. So have definitely backed down a lot, but I'm not mad about it. It is kind of sad because I really do like intensity, but I gotta listen to my body. Injury predisposition is normal. Achilles injury risk is very low risk. Ooh, that's exciting. Oh, ACL injury risk is very high risk. I kind of want to read about that. Why would my Achilles be low risk and my ACL be high risk? Based on your genetic results, you're likely to have a very high risk for getting an ACL rupture. And it recommends doing neuromuscular training, balance training, single leg stuff, yoga, plyometrics, which is good because I do all that. So I'm happy about that. I think it's kind of a miracle I didn't, knock on wood, ever tear my ACL in soccer or basketball or cross. I guess cross country is not really a lot of pivoting, but I played a lot of sports and a lot of soccer, and I'm very lucky. I have friends who've torn their ACL like 3 times. I'm like, oh my God, that sucks. But I did have a few knee issues when I played soccer. I had Osgood-Slaughters, which means I had a big bump on my knee like when I was going through a growth spurt, but no ACL issues, thankfully. And then low Achilles tendon risk, I don't know why. Lower back injury risk is low, which is great because I have a physically demanding job where I pick up heavy patients all the time. So I'm glad about that. I take care of my back. I like to stretch and do a lot of core work. Not just I'm going to do a bunch of crunches, but deeper core work. So happy about that. What else? And then it says muscle mass, increased mass. For sure. I want to read about that. I'm a mesomorph. I've always said that. I just build muscle easily. You are likely to have an increased lean muscle mass, suggesting that you may find it easier to build muscle and burn energy. Yay! Yeah, I'm kind of a muscly little lady, I guess. Oh, this is a new category. It's called stress and sleep results. So the stress resilience data is missing. Performance under pressure. It says I'm a strategist, and I don't know what that means, but let's find out. I'm a strategist genotype. This is linked to lower COMT enzymatic activity and therefore higher dopamine levels. What this means is that you're likely to have a greater efficiency of processing information and greater cognitive function under normal conditions. However, in more stressful situations, you may have a lowered pain threshold. People who carry this version of the gene may also possess more adventurous tendency than others. Is it saying that I have a dopamine fix? Because maybe that's true. Cortisol is known as a stress hormone that gets released in fight or flight response. Let's see. Okay, my AA genotype tends to experience more pleasure in life, higher highs, but also more misery, lower lows. For many people, a low is characterized by recurring intrusive negative thoughts, in particular at nighttime. This thinking process is called rumination. Yeah, I would kind of agree with that. I'm super energetic and joyful a lot of the times, but some days I'm just a lot more pensive and maybe have these thoughts running through my head. So yeah, I'm definitely more up and down, whereas my husband is just super even keeled. That's funny though. That's super funny. More adventurous tendencies. Okay. I like it. Pros and cons, right? Chronotype. Oh, data missing. Sleep quality. It says moderate sleeper. Fair. I used to be a bad sleeper. I would say I'm a moderate sleeper now. I have to go through my routine of shutting off technology, diffusing my essential oils, turning down the lights, music, a little bit of meditation or stretching, and then a warm tea or some type of, I definitely need to have my routine to go to bed most nights. I used to be a huge flailer. I'm a big roller still. I will just turn all night. But once I'm asleep, I'm usually, even though I turn, I don't wake up that I know of, so I wake up a normal amount of times and have average sleep depth. I would say it's a lot better than it used to be. Caffeine and sleep response. This is the last one. Says I have a higher response. I don't know what that means. We'll find out. Your genotype suggests that you are predisposed to sleep disturbances if you consume caffeine too close to your bedtime. It has been suggested that biochemical effect of caffeine may adjust your circadian rhythm and impact sleep. Yeah, that has happened so many times. It's kind of embarrassing. Like one time I had coffee ice cream with like real coffee beans in it, probably covered in chocolate, who knows. But I like didn't sleep all night. I maybe got an hour and a half sleep. And I know it's because of that. And sometimes I'll have a drink and I didn't know I had caffeine. I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, I will just stay up all night if I have caffeine. So I try to steer clear of it as best I can. Unless it's like really good coffee ice cream, it might be worth it. But okay. Honestly, overall, I feel like none of that was too surprising. A few of the things were a little bit bummer, but a lot of it made sense and fits with what I have found in my body. So I knew I would like a higher fat diet. I'm not super low carb by any means. Like I said, I'm kind of just moderate in protein and carbs. It's interesting that I have a super high, or not super high, but it says I have a high risk for celiac or gluten intolerance. Right now my stomach issues are fine, so I think I'm good. But if I ever do have any GI disturbances, maybe I will try to cut out gluten. Like I said, I don't want to unless I have to. I don't have to cut out dairy, so that's good. What else? I need more vitamin D, so that's great. I need more antioxidants. Or it's not that I need more, it's that I have a high need for them, which is fine because I eat a ton of vegetables and fruit. Power and strength bias as opposed to endurance bias, which makes sense. Sometimes I wish I could be like a gazelle endurance runner and be super graceful, but my body just doesn't really do that. Power and strength response is high. I have trainability for aerobic activity though, so that's good. Low recovery efficiency was a bummer, but it totally makes sense with what I've been doing lately. And then don't freaking take caffeine before bed. So that's what I've learned. I'm trying to think if I'm gonna implement anything differently. I feel pretty healthy right now, so I can't think of any huge changes I will make. I may play around with maybe consuming most of my carbohydrates around exercise and kind of decreasing throughout the rest of the day, maybe. Because right now I would say I have like a pretty low carb breakfast, moderate carb lunch, high carb dinner, but maybe that's not the best for me. But I like to feel full before I go to bed, so I do eat big dinners. And then yeah, just keep doing what I'm doing for workouts because it seems to be going well. But I hope that was interesting to you. I found it very interesting. It's kind of fun to learn about yourself. I would love to compare it to a friend of mine, like, I don't know, if someone had like a much different genetic history or ethnicity than I do. I'm trying to think of someone. But you can kind of picture that, like 2-3 very different types of people would have different results of this, which is super interesting. But thank you for watching. I'm excited. I'm gonna go tell my husband all the results because I'm a nerd, but I will see you next time.